Yeah, so last week I had a migraine. This week I have to go to the DMV. So that's why I can't review Podbean right now.
Well, you look great for your DMV photo.
Thanks. Then I have a walkthrough. So I only have one wedding this year and it is coming up. And I haven't done a walkthrough in over a year. So I'm a little nervous that I'm not going to remember how to do a walkthrough, but I think I'll figure it out.
You'll be fine. Just go in and be your judgy self.
Okay. All right. Tell me about Jamaica so I can stop talking.
Yeah. So last week, I know we teased that we were going to talk about the hills that we were going to die on, but I was in Jamaica with my family, and I have so much stuff that I wanted to tell Jen that was happening during this trip, and so we just needed to do a travel episode so I could talk about this trip, and then we'll do the hill to die on next week.
Well, and we haven't done a travel episode in like 9 months. So I'm glad we're doing one now.
Yeah.
So I've been on the edge of my seat because all of Megan's social media has indicated to me that she had a lovely time, but I kept getting these like texts like, "Oh, I have so many stories already," and she was like an hour into her trip. So I'm I'm ready to hear it.
Yeah. So I think that it's important, and we've touched on this before, but it's never explicitly been said. Jen's been on trips and she talks about, oh, I get there and I always have to cry, and I think it's important for people to understand that Jen and I are not travel influencers. We do travel a lot. We're not influencers, but we do travel and we post, amazing photos and many things on our website that make it look like we're always having a great time because that is, part of our jobs. But the reality of life is that sometimes shitty things happen when you go on trips, and that's real life, and you have to try to make the best of it. And that's easier said than done. I understand when you get to travel quite a bit, because you could just say, oh, well, we're going again in, however many months and no big deal, as opposed to it being like the trip of a lifetime. But even when it's the trip of a lifetime, you really do have to make the best of your situation, because you are not getting to do these amazing vacations very often. So this episode is going to kind of touch on all of that.
Oh my God, I love that you say that though, but like the last trip you went on, you were like, my family had diarrhea the whole time. like like so I can't imagine.
It's things you can't control.
Okay. So
So this trip, we went down to Beaches Negril in Jamaica, and we had never been there before. So as everybody knows, my travel agency focuses on sandals and beaches. Beaches is the family brand, so that means kids are involved. And our kids were coming, and it was going to be our last hurrah before school started. Very excited for it. You fly into Montego Bay, and Negril is about an hour and a half, hour 45 away from there on the, let me see, west side of the island. So we were really looking forward to it. So Ava had been at camp for 2 weeks, so I hadn't seen her, and she was going to be home for about 4 days before we left. And everything was going good. And then all of a sudden, the morning before we left, she came downstairs and she's like, my leg really itches. And I'm like, okay, well, let me see. You're at camp. Maybe you got some bug bites. And she pulls up her pajama pant leg, and her whole leg is full of sores. Like it looks like it could be like, it looks like a very intense razor burn, is I guess what I can describe it as, all over her leg.
okay.
Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, and because we're going on vacation the next day, and she's telling me, and she's like, this was not here yesterday. I'm like, okay, I got to call the doctor. We might need some sort of cream, whatever. And long story short about this, we end up getting into the doctor, thankfully, that afternoon. And she had developed a bacterial infection from a bug bite that she had gotten at camp or a sore or something, and it was starting to spread all over her skin.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So I'm glad we went into the doctor. This is not like a life-threatening emergency, but
Okay.
she had to get an antibiotic. And then the doctor's like, this episode is all going to be like, if you have kids, you can relate to this. And Jen is taking care of a lot of children. I'm sure you can relate to this too, but it's just like, oh my God. And so the doctor is then like, okay, so you need an antibiotic. So if this antibiotic works 90% of the time, but if you don't start to see an improvement by Friday, you got to call back and we're going to send another antibiotic. And I was like, well, we're going to be in Jamaica, so there's no Walgreens available in Jamaica.
Yes.
And it's not like Jamaica doesn't have antibiotics, but the reality is we're leaving the country. So we got sent to Jamaica with the first antibiotic, the backup antibiotic that they gave to us, and then also a cream because this is a highly contagious skin infection.
Oh
So
no.
if you have an open sore and it gets on somebody else's open sore, so the doctor's like, so if anybody else in your family starts to see something, cream it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh
So great.
God.
So now I'm thinking to myself, I know I hate rashes too. I hate rashes. And so I was like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. And again, like we're still going to go. She's feeling fine. It's just one more thing you're now thinking about. Okay.
Right, right.
All right. So fine. So fine. We got all of our medicines. I am always a walking pharmacy anyway when I travel because the kids make fun of me. They're like, bring your bag of creams because I'm just like, it's easier if I have it, like I have the kids' medicine, I have my medicine, whatever, overly prepared. So we go down, we're flying out of O'Hare and we changed our flight a couple days before because Hurricane Aaron was out in the Atlantic and not anywhere near Jamaica, but we were going to fly to Charlotte and then connect in Charlotte. And we decided to just go straight from Chicago down to Montego Bay because we didn't want to go to the East Coast because that was kind of where they were getting hit with some weather. So because we had to change our flight, our seats got adjusted. And I have pretty good ranking, I don't know what you call it, on American Airlines because I fly so much. And Jen, you use United a lot, right?
It's called status.
Status. I have pretty high status. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
when we rebooked the flight, there wasn't a lot of seats. So I got put in first class. Thank you very much. And my two kids and Jared got stuck way in the back. And this is going to sound pretty privileged. We don't usually sit in the very back of the plane. Like I have enough points now that we can usually get the, premier seats and whatever. This is relevant to the story. I don't think my kids have ever sat in the way back of the plane in a long time. Okay.
Well, your daughter has an infectious disease. She should have been in like the bottom of the plane.
Yes. She would have had pants on.
Okay.
Well, and here the doctor's like, she can't swim. She's like, she can't swim for like 36 hours until taking the medicine, and she should wear pants on the plane so that it doesn't rub on the seat. And for all of the listeners, I take infectious diseases very seriously. She wore pants on the plane and she did not get in the pool when we got there right away. So I don't need any trolls telling me how I infected, all of whatever.
Yes. Okay.
So I'm in the front. So we get to Montego Bay. I deplane and I'm waiting for them to get off. And I see Miles get off. My son, he's 10, and he is white as a ghost. And I look at Jared, and Jared's like, he's going to puke. And Miles runs up to me, and we are like racing through this like narrow jet bridge that is funneling us into customs. And the first trash can we see, Miles leans over and just vomits into the trash can.
Oh God.
Ugh.
Oh
So,
God.
yeah. Now, thankfully, he did not end up actually being sick. He gets very motion sick. He gets seasick. He gets motion sick in the car if
Oh.
he eats. I also get motion sick. And he got motion sick on the plane from sitting in the back, and it was way bumpier in the back. And he threw up and he moved on with his day. But that's how I am. Do you get seasick, Jen?
No. Mm-mm.
You don't?
No. No. I can handle all the motion in the ocean.
Okay, so I knew he was motion sick because that's what happens to me. Like when I'm on the boat, I feel sick, but I don't throw up until I immediately step off onto land for some reason. And that's what happened to him. So, anyway, we had a puker in the airport. My daughter's like an infectious disease, so this is setting up to be a great trip. So, then I'm a little concerned because we got through the Montego Bay airport. It took a while, probably like over an hour to get through. And then we got to the Sandals Lounge and they handle everything. They tag your bags and they get us on our transportation. I was a little worried because, Jen, I know you've never been to Jamaica, but hats off to these drivers. These are some of like the craziest roads I have ever seen in my life. And the way that people drive there is uh not great if you get sick in the car. Let's just say that.
Not not great.
It's not great. And Miles, he ended up just falling asleep. So he didn't get sick in the car, thankfully. But like it is small roads, windy, people honking, slamming on brakes. Like there's potholes everywhere. So the drivers are like yanking the steering wheel to get around the potholes. So if you are going to Jamaica and you have a little bit of a drive and you get car sick, try to sit in the front of any vehicle that you're in. Also, maybe bring your motion sickness medication because you might need it.
Okay.
But we got there safely. All was good. We saw, and I did post a picture of Ava, although the photo didn't give it credit. That first night that we were there, we saw one of the most amazing sunsets that I've ever seen in my life. So, because you're on the west side of the island, you've got this gorgeous view. And that first night, it was like every color in the rainbow was in the sky.
Oh, that's
And we
amazing.
tried to take pictures and we couldn't get it to like,
You never can.
like really get it on our phone.
The photos never,
No,
Yep. Never.
it was beautiful. And even I asked a worker because I had heard like, oh, the sunsets in Negril are great. And I was just like, is it like this every night? And she said, the sunsets are good, but she's like, it's not like this. She's like, was wondering what's going on tonight, something in the atmosphere or whatever, but it was just stunning.
Well, you do know that typically when there is a really, really beautiful sunset, that means that there's a lot of air pollution. It's like when there's forest fires
Oh,
in other places, it's usually like the
huh.
sunsets here are insanely gorgeous. Yeah, I don't think it's technically a good thing.
Interesting. Well, the sunset was beautiful, and I don't know where the pollution would be coming from because there's not another island down there for a while towards that way. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Although I'm not very good with geography.
Shout out to Catholic Central.
Yeah, shout out to Catholic Central once again for a great geography class. So we're finally there. We're settled. The next part is like, Miles is fine, but Ava is on this antibiotic now. And if you have kids, you just want them to be happy. And when they're not happy and they're crabby, like it wears on you. And that's just kind like all the stress of everything already was just like it feels like this heaviness on you. So I was just kind of bummed because now this antibiotic is really, it's like giving her a stomach ache. So we were there for a full 4 days. She felt like garbage the first 2 days of the 4 days. And like, it's just kind of a bummer because she didn't really feel like doing much and it would come and go, but like the antibiotic was really taking a toll on her stomach. So that was kind of disappointing and I felt really bad for her. But the second day that we were there, we wake up and we're like, great. I'm so glad that we're here. We had an interesting day getting down here. Ava, she's been taking her medicine long enough where the doctor has okayed her to swim. So we're good on that front. And we're going to get in the water. So we swam, and the beach is on 7 Mile Beach. So Beaches Negril is on 7 Mile Beach. It is a beautiful beach. It is tons of white sand. We had no problem finding shady chairs. They have a lot of like those, I think they're called like palapas, where it's like palm tree made, I don't know, cabana things that you can use. And the kids love to swim. So they were in the water, and it's a smaller resort. So if you have littler kids, and Turks and Caicos, the beaches in Turks and Caicos is very large. If that's a little overwhelming and you feel like it's not terribly walkable, this resort is great because it's a little bit smaller. And we went from the beach to the pools to the water park, super easy. We had a great day besides Ava kind of feeling like garbage. Got to be towards the end of the day, and we're like, let's just go down to the beach one more time. So we go down to the beach. Kids are in the water. Jared's in the water, and it's not deep. So they have buoys set up. So if you have smaller kids, Ava, my 12-year-old, she could touch all the way to where the buoys were set up. And there was like no waves. So it was really easy swimming. And, we weren't really concerned about them being in the water at all.
Oh, nice.
I decided to go get a snack. Maybe this was my downfall. I shouldn't have left. I don't know. But I go get a snack. I bring it back. And all of a sudden, I'm like, Miles, because he wanted some of this snack. We were having a patty. It's a traditional Jamaican snack food. You can get them beef, chicken. It's like an empanada. It's like that's how I think of it, a Jamaican empanada. So I'm like, Miles, I got the patties. Come on back. And he's in the water, and he's running out of the water. And I'm like, I'm going to get my phone, and I'm going to take this really cute video of Miles running out of the water to get his snack from the beach. And all is good. The sun's going down. And Miles is running towards me, and he gets to me, and I didn't quite get the video soon enough. And I start saying, Miles, I was going to have him run back and do it again, like a real, social media influencer. I needed another shot.
Yeah.
Miles, can you run back and come back to me again? And he starts crying, and he's like, no, I got stung. What? He was walking out of the ocean, and he said he felt something wrap around his wrist and sting him.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So what was it? A stingray?
No, a jellyfish.
Oh my God.
So we didn't see it. He didn't see it. I mean, jellyfish, a lot of them are clear. You're not really paying attention. But he said he felt it wrap around his arm. So that was the clue. So I look at his wrist, and I was like, Miles, I don't see anything, but he's crying, and he's like scared. He's scared because that's terrifying for a little kid. You're in the water and you feel something wrap around your wrist and sting you. Oh my God.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. So I look, and then all of a sudden I start seeing little welts forming on his arm. And so I go, okay, Miles, we're going to go to the nurse. Beaches resorts have a nurse on site that you can go to. They have a doctor on call 24 hours a day. So this is the first time we've ever needed to use this, but it was super easy. And we went right to the nurse's station, walked in. Really hats off to their medical team. I think that anytime that you need medical services outside of your own country, it's probably a little bit nerve-wracking for people, especially when your kids are involved.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this wasn't like a life-threatening thing, but he was very scared. And so I do appreciate everything they did for us. So it's the small little building, and we went in, and she looked at it. And by the time that we had walked from the water to the nurse's station, Miles said that was already starting to feel better. But what it looked like was a bunch of little welts all around where this jellyfish had wrapped around his wrist, his little wrist. So she, got his vitals, and they see this way more often than we do up here in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
rest assured they know what to do. And she said that, just like up here, she's like, this is what you're going to need, but I have to call the doctor. He's not going to have to come. If a doctor has to come to the resort, you're going to pay more. And I did want to touch on this because medical care is different outside the country.
Sure.
But you're just going to talk to him on the phone, and he has to approve what I'm, saying that we're going to do.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what they gave us was a a cream, like a hydrocortisone cream that we were going to apply on it.
Did you have trouble keeping all your creams in order? You were like, whose cream goes on who?
Well, let me tell you. So they were out.
Oh no. Oh no.
They were out of the cream we needed. And I looked at her and I go, "Oh, I got that cream." She just looked at me like I was crazy, but I was like, "This is why I bring the creams." But they would have gotten it for me. I mean, if they didn't have it, but I had it anyway. So they gave us the cream, and then I you know, it's a different brand down there, but I think it was probably equivalent to like a children's Benadryl or a Claritin, some sort of allergy liquid medicine that he was going to take for a couple days, because what I learned is that even if you're not having a bad reaction to jellyfish sting, you can get a reaction, like a delayed reaction. And so they were like, just take this allergy medicine for a couple days, and then, better safe than sorry, kind of a thing.
Right.
And by the time that we left the nurse's station, he was feeling much better. We had a plan. This was not like a life threatening emergency. But I wanted to bring it up because I think it's important to talk about, like, things like this can happen. And, when you're going to Sandals or Beaches as a travel advisor, I always ask my clients if they want to purchase the travel protection, which covers things like medical expenses. So we did have to pay a small amount for the medicine that they gave us, and we didn't have to pay for the doctor to come, but if the doctor would come, you'd have to pay more, and your medical insurance would reimburse you for those costs. Now, just something to keep in mind, in Jamaica, I assume in other countries outside of the United States, if you have to go to a hospital or a doctor's office, you have to pay upfront for your services.
Oh wow.
Yes. And if you have medical, traveling medical insurance, you get reimbursed by that later. But it's not like in the US where there's a deductible and they bill you afterwards. You have to be prepared to have a credit card ready to pay for your services.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's important to, this is the type of thing that comes up. I asked her, I was like, so, do you see a lot of jellyfish? And she's like, oh, sometimes, obviously it's the ocean, right? You can't control what's in the ocean. And she's like, it's not as bad as when people step on sea urchins. And we did not see any sea urchins in the water. The water at Beaches Negril was crystal clear. You could see to the bottom, like, Jared was out on a paddleboard and could see a couple feet down. It was so clear. We did not see sea urchins on the beach, but sea urchins can move around. And she said, though, if you step on one, you have to go to the nurse's station, and they have to numb your foot and then have the doctor come and pull the sea urchin spikes out of your foot.
So it's interesting because, like, when I was in Croatia like 2 summers ago, I got a sea urchin thingy in my foot.
Oh,
Yeah, the driver of our boat was like, oh, it's totally fine. It'll fall out.
really?
And it ended up falling out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it hurt to walk on for a little while, but like not obviously to the point where I couldn't. And yeah, it eventually fell out.
That's interesting.
You could also do that, folks, if you want.
Well, it was funny. Another thing that I really liked about this resort is that because it's smaller, the staff like remembers it. It was a very friendly resort. So I went as a travel agent. The staff doesn't necessarily know that I'm a travel agent unless they're like, what room are you in? And then they look up my reservation, and I'm not going around telling anybody that we're actually not allowed to. Like, you wouldn't want to go to a resort and have a bunch of travel agents be like, hi, I'm a travel agent. Can I sell you something? It's like, that's not allowed. So nobody knows I'm a travel agent. But I had a couple different managers come up to me thinking I was just like a regular guest and asking me how everything was going and if there's any issues. And I thought that was a really nice touch, for these managers to be out walking around and like touching base with guests. But your story made me think, because I told the one the one person. I was like, yeah, everything's going, the resort is great. Unfortunately, my son's Miles was so scared to get back in the water at first, because, he got stung by a jellyfish. And she's like, oh, did he get some, I think she said like whiskey to pour on it. And I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, a lot of people will just go up to the bar and ask for a glass of whiskey and pour whiskey on it and then go sit in the hot tub. And then it seems to be fine. It's like, oh, we went to the nurse.
Okay.
So keep in mind, to anybody listening to this, Jen and I are not medical professionals. So you might want to check to see if you should get that sea urchin spike pulled out of your foot.
Yeah.
Or if you should dump whiskey on the jellyfish. We don't know. We do not know. We are not offering medical advice.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yes.
Do as we say, not as we do. Go to the doctor.
Yes. So after that, both of my kids were scared to get in the water for a bit, which I get that, that is scary. But Miles eventually, he bounced back. Neither of them like actually went swimming really in the water because they were a little too nervous about it. But Miles, this resort is great for water sports. So you can do water skiing and knee boarding and kite surfing, all this kind of stuff. And or windsurfing, not kite surfing where you go up in the air, windsurfing where you have to know how to like steer the little thing on the surfboard. But Miles did kneeboarding for the first time. He got up right away and he did that. He went out on a paddleboard with Jared. And if you are at this resort and you take paddleboards out, or kayaks, go right along the other side of the buoy line. Jen, we saw like so many starfish. It was so cool. And you can see down and they were like all different colors. Really, really cool. Something I was a little nervous about, but there was a couple stingrays.
Where are we going to be in relation to, like, we're on a different side of the island?
Yeah. Ocho Rios.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I saw also when I was walking along the edge of the beach, a huge stingray swimming through the water.
Yeah.
Like flapping its stingy ray arms. And all I ever think about is fucking Steve Irwin getting killed. So I'm like very afraid of stingrays, but I don't know the level of fear that I should have of them, but I'm afraid of them.
That is so crazy. I totally was Googling him last week because why was I Googling Steve Irwin? I can't remember, but that's so crazy because I remember when he died and we were like,
yeah,
oh my God,
right.
Crocodile Hunter's dead. Or not Hunter. Was he a hunter? No,
he was like he was like a conservationist.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is a lot of sea life in the water. And my child was the only one who seemed to have unfortunately been affected by it. So don't be afraid of the water if you go. It's beautiful. Take advantage of it. I think of all of the resorts that I have been to in Jamaica, and now I have been to pretty much I've been to the northern side and, this western side and the southern side because I've been to Sandals South Coast. This is the best beach in Jamaica. And I can see why some people really love this resort. Like I said, the workers there, everybody was so friendly. People like remember your name. Jen, I will tell you, the nighttime entertainment is not to be missed. I will send you a video of some fire dancers that were, they say it was for the kids, but I think it was for the moms. I think it was for the moms.
Ooh, mommy likey. Yeah. I love it. The moms and the aunts.
Yes. They had some really fun nighttime entertainment, a very like kid. They had a magician. They had this fire show that kept the kids interested. They had a nighttime pool party where they had like DJ music. And at one point they like asked, like they wanted to get like moms involved. I am sitting there. I was not doing this, but they had like 6 moms volunteer. And then they told them it was going to be a dance off. And it was all like people my age, our age. I don't know what it is about the music of our era, but when it comes on, the dance moves that come out of the women of our generation are not dance moves that should be done at a children's resort. Let's just say that.
Yeah. That's amazing. I would have so been on that dance floor.
Yeah, you definitely would have. You definitely would have. Yeah, but that was the worst of it. Ava eventually got over her stomach ache. I wish we would have been able to be in the water a little bit more, but after, being traumatized, that was the end of that. But there's a water park, there's a pool. Miles did this fun scavenger hunt. He was known as like the ping pong champion around the resort. Like kids were coming up to him during the day and being like, "Miles, you going to be at the ping pong table later? I want a rematch." It was really funny.
I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for our trip to Jamaica. Megan always gets mad at me, but I do think I have 2 people who are going to be coming.
Yes.
So I have to send them the information again, but just so you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jen has to go to the DMV, so I think we're going to wrap up our episode.
I do have to go to the DMV. Oh my God. But I've been doing a lot of like things I've been putting off, for a while. So this is the last of them. And then I can just go back to putting off new things.
Well, you have to do this before you leave the country for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But next week, we're going to be talking about hills we will die on.
Yes, we promise it will be next week. Nothing else will interfere with that.
Everybody get ready for that.
Yeah, everybody's waiting.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm glad that you had fun and that your kids are okay. And
I'll send you a video of the fire dancers.
Oh my God, yes. I'll post it. I promise. Also, I promise.
Yes.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us again this week. If you have a wedding or travel-related story of your own that you would like us to share in a future episode, send us an email to plannerspassport@gmail.com.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Planners Passport and follow all of our travel and wedding businesses, including We Roam Solo, Dare to Dream Travel, and Dare to Dream Weddings. And please, if you enjoy our show, remember to rate, review, and subscribe from wherever you are listening to this podcast.